talking about bad business, let's take a look at this news article. And it's been on the gayreport.net for a while now. We had it up for a week, but finally the national news media has picked it up. A lesbian couple, listen to this. A lesbian couple who were told they could not hold their wedding at a farm near their home in Albany, New York, have filed a discrimination complaint with the state agency. Melissa Irwin and Jenny McCarthy wanted to wed at the Liberty Ridge farm next summer. Oh, Liberty Ridge. Like, there's Liberty University, there's all this bullshit Liberty teabagging institutions. And you know what they're about when they say that. They're not really about liberty. And by the way, I've already explained what liberty really means. It's totally different from freedom. Freedom and liberty are totally different. So when you hear people like Mark Levin, that Groucho Marx impersonator, or that, what's his face, that fat fuck Rush Limbaugh, talking about freedom and liberty, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because it's totally different things. And if you take a look at one of my broadcasts earlier on, I think we have it up on YouTube, you can see what I mean. I talk about liberty at length. Or maybe I haven't done it yet, but I'll do it later on. Liberty Ridge Farm. But the owners said they would not host their wedding because Irwin and McCarthy are a same-sex couple. Oh my God. Like, that's a big deal. A spokesman for Robert and Cynthia Gifford, Liberty Ridge farm owners, said they had the right to turn the lesbian couple away because of their own religious beliefs. So, in other words, you can defy the law. And this has nothing to do with the gay marriage law. This is the anti-discrimination law. And people are trying to confuse the voters and say, look, if we allow gay marriage, you will be forced to make wedding cakes for gay weddings. Oh no. You'll be forced to take their pictures. Well, first of all, most of these cases that they're referring to, like the one in New Mexico, the one in New Jersey, there's another one in Florida that they were pointing at, one in Colorado. These are the places that don't have gay marriage. And just to give you more to think about, what about all those incidents of discrimination that go unreported? Studies show that the majority of anti-gay discrimination do not get reported because the gay person or people involved are either embarrassed, or they don't want their family to know that they're gay, or for whatever reason, homophobia, I don't know. But let me just say this. Let me just talk about the business side of this particular event, if we can say that. I am a big fan of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. And you know what you see with those? I don't know if you've ever seen this show, but it's a great show. I really love it. But if you ever see that show, notice the owners of the failing restaurants. Because what happens is, if you don't see the show, Gordon Ramsay comes in and he helps failing restaurants to get back on their feet. But the reason why, the number one reason why restaurants or businesses in general fail is because of the arrogance and the incompetence of the owners. Because these owners want to impose themselves on the business. There's a difference between operating a business and running your fantasy land world where you can do whatever the hell you want, where it's like your way or nothing. If you're in the customer service business, which a lot of businesses are, what is the number one motto? Customers are what? Customers are what? Always right. If you're in the service industry, you should know this shit. And I've been in the service industry. I've been a busboy. I've been a waiter, I've been a bartender, I've been a bouncer, I've been a lot of things in the service industry. A manager, a cook. So I know what really makes a good business, and that's when you serve everybody. Now, if a man comes in with a horse and he wants to marry a horse, so what? As long as he pays for the wedding, you make money. That's how your business survives, is you make money. But if you become selfish and you want to run your business as a church or as your little private club, it's not going to work. It's going to fail. Imagine what other things these owners are imposing on the business. I remember this Muslim character, I don't know what his name is anymore, but he had a business here locally. He ran a printing shop. And one day I met up with him a while ago at a party, and he complained to me that his business can't grow, that he wants the business to grow. And I said, well, what are you doing then there's something that you are doing that is limiting the business. But after poking him for a little bit, finally he admitted that, well, we don't allow bacon or meat products, something like that, bacon products, pork products to be printed. So they had to refuse, and he refused like 30 customers because of that, because of his religious beliefs. And I said, I don't think you should be in business. I think you should be working for somebody else. And then that way you can keep your religious beliefs at a higher level than running the business and making money and making profit. He was also against printing anything gay, and that was really, I didn't know what to say. But I said, you're really running your business to the ground, and that's why he couldn't grow. And that's why he's not really number one here in where I live. The number one guys are these Mexican guys, and they will print anything you want because the customer is always right. When you treat customers as they are the king, as they are the rulers. And yes, of course, there are limits. I understand you have rules that are supposed to be logistical rules. For instance, we don't want people, if you run a farm, you don't want people to be close to dangerous animals. You don't want people to be running everywhere or peeing in public in front of everybody else. Yes, I understand there are limits. Maybe you don't want people to be drinking alcohol. Fine. Although that might add a little bit to your revenue. I think it does. If you have a bar. I think they do have a bar. But I don't get why there are people like this who run businesses. How do they get this business? I mean, why are they in business if they are going to exclude certain people? And now guess what? Now everybody's pissed off. Everybody's fucking pissed. Not only did you anger these two lesbians, guess what? 30% of your business is gone. I would say that. You might be able to gain, 5% from the conservatives because they support you now. Oh, yeah, let's have a appreciation day for Liberty Ridge Farm. Maybe you might get Mike Huckabee to join your asses. Let's have a National Appreciation Day. Okay, you might get 10%. So that way, I would say 30%, you might lose business. 40% goes away, then you gain about 10%. And that's 70% that you maintain. Now, 30% that you lose, it's a lot. You might say, well, it's not the majority of people that are leaving. Well, those of you who don't know how to run a business, those of you who never run a business, which are a lot of you, who are harping and yelling and screaming and saying, these gays can go to hell, Liberty Ridge Farm doesn't need these gays. I mean, I've seen a lot of these comments on the internet on these other articles about the story. And I said to myself, these people have no idea what a business really is and how it functions. 30% loss in business because of this little event can actually break you. It can actually close your business down. Because that 30% could have been the 30% that you need to get ahead this month. It's that 30% that you need to pay for payroll. Is that 30% that you need to pay for the electricity, for the utilities, for other overhead, or for the employment insurance. That 30% can carry you over, and you can actually get some profit. So that means that they're going to lose, and they're going to be bleeding a huge chunk of their profits. A business person, a wise business person, will try to avoid this kind of situation. If you are a person who doesn't support gay marriage, and you're running a wedding venue, there's going to be a problem. Maybe you shouldn't be in that kind of a business. Maybe you should just do something else. But the thing is, if you are renting a venue, you're not sanctioning what they're doing at the venue. If you are a Catholic owner of this business, and a Catholic guy comes over and says, okay, I want to rent the venue for my wedding, and he's going to marry a girl that's a Muslim, that's against your religious beliefs as well. But you're not going to, I don't think there's going to be a problem with that. I have a hunch that's not really going to be a problem. But maybe for some Catholics, it might be a problem. And they might say, no, I don't want this in my venue. But why? What do you get out of this? Oh, I'm satisfying my religious beliefs. I'm with God now. But God's not paying your bills. God, if that is what you want to do in your life, then all right, then become a monk or a nun or something. Join a seminary. But if you're in business, that means you want to make money. You want to make profit. And when you have a business, you have to make sacrifices. It's not all handy dandy. It's not all served on a silver platter for you to take. I mean, you're gonna have to make sacrifices. Like when I had my business, I made huge sacrifices. So whenever I see people discriminating against gays and all that, they're not gonna be in business for long. Especially if you're in New York or in those kinds of liberal areas. Well, if you're in Mississippi, maybe, I don't know, maybe you might get away with it. But even there, I would have some doubts. Because if you piss off 5% of your customer base, just 5%, that's it. That 5% is never coming back. You're going to have a problem with that. Because that 5% could have helped you to carry you over the next month. But because you're a selfish pig, and you want your religious beliefs to be on top of your business and cut away your profits, then you're stupid. And you're gonna deserve what you're gonna get.